Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Kiba. Overwhelming intelligence, breaking the cage bird at the beginning, no system, no delivery. Not at a disadvantage, pure and refreshing writing. Traveling through the world of ninjas has also become Nishinji Hinata. Although there is no system nearby, fortunately, with a high level of intelligence, one can develop their own ninjutsu and reach the pinnacle. I felt that the chakra extraction technique was flawed, so I developed the technique of counterattack and transformed it into the Six Treasures Immortal Thief, which can infinitely improve my physical fitness. Feeling that the function of the white eye was limited, he developed the method of evolution for the white eye, and then merged it with the writing will eye to evolve into a unique white will eye. Learn the Immortal Law. Create secret techniques. Open up 3 elixir fields. Upper, middle, and lower. In addition, the 8-character technique of soft fist, Tai Chi .18 drops on clothes, soul transfer technique, Whirlpool View Thoughts, reverse reincarnation technique, Yin Yang and 5 elements breaking body sword Chi, divine awareness technique, and instant transfer technique.Unconsciously, Ning Ci already possessed 6 levels of strength, dominating the world of ninjas while also planning to conquer other worlds. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Crossing the Ninja Realm with Superb Understanding. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Using the later timeline, the Nine Tails Rebellion lasted for 51 years. Mai is in July of the 50th year. The baby cries from the delivery room of the Hinata clan. Congratulations to Mr. Rizhao, he is a boy. Okay. Ning Fei didn't expect it either. He just took a nap, then traveled to the world of Hokage and became the uncle who would be killed by the plot in the future, Ri Xiangning. But everyone has come. I can't go back again. He can only accept it. The newborn child was not in good spirits and couldn't bear to think too much, so he quickly fell asleep in a daze. 2.5 years have passed in the blink of an eye. In the courtyard of the Hinata clan, Ning Ci, who had become a cute little Zhengtai, sat on the porch outside, propping his chin with one hand and watching the cultivators of the tribe. I have traveled for over 2 years. Although there is no awakening of any system. But for her future, Ning Ci is not so worried. Because in this life, he has a terrifying insight, and almost everything can be learned at a glance. And it can also draw analogies and bring forth new ideas. It's like the basic soft fist technique of the Hinata clan. Even if no one has taught him yet, after just watching for a while, he has already practiced thousands of times in his mind and achieved mastery. It's not yet known how to use it, but I don't think it will be too bad. Do you want to learn? Wearing a gray kimono, with long black hair combed at the back of his head, his face remained calm, but he spoke to the man who showed a hint of love towards Ning Ci. Think, can my father teach me? Ning Ci lifted his head. Of course, if you want to learn, I'll teach you. Hinata smiled and said, then reached out to touch Ning Ci's hair. Follow me. As he spoke, Hinata took a step towards the courtyard. Ning Ci also jumped onto the ground and followed suit. Soft fist technique is an exquisite boxing technique that is based on the white eye and then penetrates chakra into the enemy's body, causing damage. But you can't open your eyes yet, and you don't have a chakra. Just follow me to practice the routine and exercise your body. Yes. Ning Ci nodded in response. The next time is for one to teach and one to learn. Even with an incredible level of intelligence. Ning Ci didn't immediately reveal his cards and explained everything. As the saying goes, the first step is a genius, and the second step is a genius. But if you take 5 or 10 steps, or even 100 steps, it is not something that ordinary people can accept, and you will be envied. So even if you want to showcase your talent, you have to take it step by step and not be too aggressive. The fact has proven to be the same. Ning Ci has not yet exerted 1/10 of his true abilities, but due to his strong intelligence, no matter how clumsy he is even more powerful than ordinary people. After practicing it twice, I became proficient in the soft fist technique, comparable to a clan member who has been practicing it for several years. This kind of performance. He also made Hinata ecstatic, his hands and feet trembling, wishing to spread the word that his son was a genius everywhere and let all his people know. Just show a little bit of talent and that's it. If you put in all your effort, then you wouldn't have fooled this cheap old bean. Ning Ci shook his head. I am more accepting of my behavior. There won't be much going on for the next period of time. Ning Ci practiced soft boxing step by step, but showed a slightly better level than ordinary geniuses. But even so. After half a month, he also practiced Rochuan exceptionally well, and used it as a reason to successfully obtain the chakra refining method from Hinata. What you show is just for others to see. Obtaining more benefits is Ning Ci's goal. Leaving aside the importance of enhancing strength. You should know. Anyone who separates from the Hinata family will be engraved with a bird curse in a cage at the age of 3, and Ning Ci is not far away from this matter. He still needs to be on guard. Ning Ci, refining chakras will increase the burden on your body. You just need to take a look now. Don't practice easily, okay? Well, I got it. After listening to the instructions from Hinata, Ning Ci took the scroll and returned to his room. Sitting on a tatami mat. Spread out all the scrolls. In just a moment, Ning Ci understood the extraction method of chakra and also understood its operating mechanism. To put it bluntly, this is just like exercising the body. How to explain it specifically? You should know that chakra's internal power is different from that in the world of martial arts, and cannot be preserved. It is a thing that can be used and carried at any time. Use a little, extract a little. Regular practice involves squeezing cells time and time again, improving the body's adaptability, and expanding the extraction speed and flow rate of chakras. That is to say, the chakra extraction method does indeed have significant waste. Because regardless of whether you use it or not, the extracted chakra cannot be stored and will slowly dissipate over time. Isn't this causing waste? The reason why the Yin seal developed by Gangsho is so powerful is because she discovered and solved this problem, using all the wasted chakras. Chapter 2. Practicing Chakra, Family Banquet. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Think of this. Ning Ci, who possesses an incredible insight, also had countless thoughts burst into his mind. It's just that, because he knows too little and is completely clueless about sealing techniques, even if he wants to imitate Gangsho, he can't do it now. But even so, he also had some other ideas. For example, first store the extracted chakra in acupoints and meridians. Although the capacity is not high. But because it's not a seal, it would be easier to achieve. Of course. This is just a preliminary idea. To truly achieve it, we need to wait for Ning Ci to extract chakra. As for acupoints and meridians, it's not a problem. Because just before, while learning Rochuan with the daily variation of the sun, Ning Ci also looked at all the acupoint meridian maps, and there was no cognitive impairment. Close your eyes. Mobilize your spiritual energy and gradually feel the energy contained in your body cells. Then extract them and combine them with spiritual power. Give it a whoosh. A small blue flame appeared in the position of Ning Ci Dantian. This is chakra. He has a strong talent and insight, even if it's just the first attempt to refine, he successfully condensed chakra. And the quantity is not too small. Just. As the extraction stopped, in Ning Ci's perception, the chakra in his Dantian also slowly dissipated. Although this speed is not fast. But it's just a few minutes, and the first chakra that was just mentioned is gone. There is indeed a lot of waste. What to refine again? Just like other ninjas, practicing chakra extraction speed to increase the body's adaptation limit. Ning Ci did not do that. Because in his view, constantly squeezing the energy of cells is definitely a behavior that promotes seedling growth and self-harms the foundation. It's not impossible to do this. The key is not to overdo it. Especially for children like him who are not yet fully developed, proper cultivation is enough. Excessive extraction of chakras will definitely affect their development. Is it a very simple logic? The body cells are always in a deficit state, lacking energy, how can they grow tall and strong? So before developing a method for storing chakras, it is even more important to address the issue of cell loss in the body. So how should we solve it? Ordinary people, of course, solve this problem by eating and resting. But this approach is undoubtedly slow and cannot meet Ning Ci's expectations. Ning Ci, we're out for dinner now. Here we go. Unconsciously, it arrived at night. The problem has not been solved yet, but Ning Ci is not in a hurry. With some ideas in mind, he tidied up and left the room. Father, I want to take a look at the family's collection of books. Sitting at the table, eating while Ning Ci spoke. On the other side of the table sat Hinata, and as for Ning Ci's mother, she passed away shortly after giving birth to him. Is there any reason? There's nothing else, I just want to learn more and also learn about the world and the history of our Hinata tribe. Well, I'll take you over tomorrow. People in the world of Hokage are relatively early-witted, and children are also sensible early, so it's not surprising to see the daily difference. They nodded and agreed. Thank you, Father. Let's eat first and rest early today. Yes. After finishing the meal, I feel that my body is full of energy. Returning to the room, he briefly refined the chakra and then went to bed to rest. Turn around the next day. I practiced soft boxing several times in the yard. After receiving recognition from Hinata, he took Ning Ci to the Hinata clan's library. Big brother. It's a day difference. During this period, the daily difference between the sun and the sun is not so lamented about the unfairness of fate, and the relationship with the sun and the sun is also good. And Hinata was also quite kind, smiling and responding before reaching out to touch Ning Ci's head. I've heard about it all. Ning Ci has a great talent, so you should cultivate him well. Don't worry, big brother. I will do it. Is there anything I need to do this time? Ning Ci wants to see the collection of books here and broaden his horizons. Good thing, then you can take him inside. Come to my place tonight and let Ning Ci meet with Hinata. Okay, we'll definitely go over. After bidding farewell to the sunrise and sunset, Hinata brought Ning Ci into the library. Anyway, it's also a millennium-old family. The collection of Hinata is indeed rich. In the spacious room, there are rows of wooden shelves, and the shelves are piled up with various scrolls. These are all reprints, so there's no need to worry about damage. There's a classification and catalog of scrolls over there, so you can choose what you want to see yourself. Okay, thank you, Father. I said thank you. Then Ning Ci went over on his own. For the first time, he didn't choose those scrolls that were too targeted, but instead chose some humanities and history-related things. Holding a few scrolls, he came to a desk by the window and sat down to slowly read. Half a day has passed like this. At dusk, Ning Ci put back the scroll and followed the Hinata to the clan leader's house. Oh, Oni Sauce, Hinata, who is only 1.5 years younger than Ninji, is also a very small one. She is holding her father's pants legs and not even knee-high. She, with half her head exposed at the back, shyly greeted Ning Ci. Chapter 3. Developing Soft Fist and the Method of Counterfeiting in the Corridor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Miss Hinata. Ning Ci's greeting is much more formal because it's a separation. Today is a family gathering, so don't be so divided. Instead, call it Sister Hinata, Hinata said with a smile. Yes, Lord Clan Leader. Call me Uncle. Uncle. Well behaved, is that right? Hinata laughed again and called Hinata's father and son to take their seats. Dinner will be served soon. The two adults were chatting, and taking care of execution fell on the brother Ning Ci. As for Hinata's mother, she's not here at the moment and doesn't know what she's doing. Have you heard about the story of Orochimaru? Hinata poured a glass of sake for his younger brother. I heard it, it's really surprising. Who said it's not true? As a disciple of Hokage and one of the three ninjas, I would actually do something without a bottom line. Hinata shook his head and said. Is this talking about Orochimaru's defection? The time was indeed similar, and that's why Ning Ci thought of it. Do you have any ideas, big brother? Asked the day difference. I don't have any thoughts, but I feel that there are too many unstable factors in Kiba. A year ago, the Nine Tails Rebellion occurred, and 4 generations of couples sacrificed themselves. Now, even Orochimaru has become a traitor. Big brother, be cautious. Without letting Hinata continue speaking, Hinata looked around and said to Ning Ci, have you eaten enough? I'm full. Then take your sister to the yard to play, don't run far, you know. Got it. Let's go, Hinata. Ning Ci picked up Hinata and then took her out. Don't be so careful, this is within our tribe. Be careful, big brother. The current situation is so tense, and we also have to take responsibility for our own people. Okay, it's up to you. Hinata waved his hand and said nonchalantly. He is not as serious now as he will be in the future, especially when it comes to treating his loved ones, he has always been very casual. Hinata is indeed quite a good person. However, it is precisely because he is not so dominant that he is restrained by those tribal elders who cannot do anything as they please. Oni sauce back. Xiao Chutian stretched out 2 small hands and begged. For the sake of her cute appearance, Ning Ci did not refuse. After all, he is a traveler. I won't blame everyone like Ning Ci did before, attributing all the bad things around me to fate. Not to mention, he hasn't been engraved with the bird curse in the cage yet, and his father has died. Why are you so bitter and resentful? I played with Xiao Chutian for a while. Until it was late, Hinata had 2 brothers coming out of the house. After handing over Xiao Chutian to her father, Ning Ci followed Hinata back together. Turn the sky. After getting up, Ning Ci continued to practice Rochuan and then went to the library to read. The following period will be like this. Ning Ci's insight is different from the kind of insight that can be changed through system empowerment, abandoning logic and even physical quality. It's not that excessive. He has a pure understanding, which belongs to innate abilities. Similar to the sudden appearance of spiritual light. So we cannot create out of thin air, we can do whatever we want. But it's about accumulating knowledge, using a pivot to pry and deduce more things, which inevitably slows down the speed. Fortunately, his intelligence is also really strong. In less than a month, he has produced a lot of things. Let's start with the soft fist. Let him deduce several advanced boxing techniques. The first type is soft fist. Tai Chi. It is a boxing technique developed in combination with Tai Chi, which can be both hard and soft, and its practical combat ability is definitely much stronger than that of simple soft boxing. The second type, soft fist. Johnny 18 falls. This is a defensive technique that spreads strength or chakra throughout the body, forming a unique Tai Chi force field. Even if you don't take action, you can still make the enemy lie down. The third type is soft fist. Breaking. This is a tactic of attack. Ning Ci just feels that the killing power of Rochuan is too small, hitting people dozens or even hundreds of times, it's hard to say it can make the other person hiccup. So, he developed an explosive technique that focused on destruction, enhancing its lethality. There are other tricks available, but they are also similar, so I won't mention them for now. It took 1 month. Ning Ci has also developed 2 good things. The first one is called the method of reversing the corridor. It's about extracting chakra and then replenishing it back into the cells. In this way, although it did not increase the upper limit of cells and the loss in battle, it solved the deficit in refining. With this method, you are not afraid of the losses during cultivation and refinement, and can boldly refine and exercise your own cells. Let's give an analogy. Ordinary people who extract chakras for an hour have to stop and rest to replenish energy, and they cannot extract too many times a day to avoid severe cell damage. And with the method of Ning Ci's counter-supplementation, he can move back and forth, not afraid of cells consuming too much energy, prolonging the refining time, which is equivalent to improving cultivation efficiency. It's not a small matter that one day can be compared to others for 10 or even more days. Chapter 4. Acupoint and Orifice Storage Method, Caged Bird. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course. Moving energy back and forth also incurs losses. Even if it's very small, it's not a big deal compared to the original losses. But in addition, it is not possible to replenish consumption during battles and increase the maximum capacity of cells, so Ning Ci is not satisfied with this counter-replenishment method. There is still research to be done. Let's talk about the second achievement. The method of storing chakras in acupoints and meridians was also developed by Ning Ci and named the Acupoint Orifice Storage Method. Well, it's similar to the method of absorbing stars and storing internal energy in martial arts. Just can't suck on others. So this also needs to continue to be developed. Ernie, are you reading here again? Xiao Chu-Tian stood outside the door, revealing half of his head and timidly asked. There are many children in the Hinata clan, but the only one who can play with Hinata is Ning Ci, who makes their father a brother. The children of other families cannot overcome the obstacle of separation and ancestral family, nor dare they get too close to Hinata. So, since meeting Ning Ci, Xiao Chu-Tian has also become attached to him and occasionally runs over to find him on his own. Come in. Ning Ci waved his hand. And little Hinata obediently walked into the room and came to Ning Ci's face. Did you have a good meal today? Yes. Are you good or not? Be good. Not bad, here's a reward for you. Nodding, Ning Ci took out a lollipop from her arms and handed it to Xiao Chu-Tian, while also touching her hair. Well, good education should start from being a child. Anyway, she's also her own sister. If you don't listen, you can't do it. The future of Hinata in the original work cannot be controlled by Ning Ci, but now that he has arrived, the development of things must follow his instructions. Otherwise, what's the use of him? Brother Ning Ci, can you take me out to play? Licking the lollipop, little Hinata looked up and asked. Not right now, wait until you grow up a little longer. How big does that need to be? When you don't feel tired after running 5 kilometers in one breath, otherwise you'll be tired after walking for a while. If I have to carry you on my back, Ernie will also be tired, you know. Oh, then I need to grow up quickly and go out with oni sauce on my back. Huh, that would be great. Ning Ci laughed and touched the lid of Hinata's small pot. Days go by as usual. It's still a life of 3 points and 1 line. Either follow Hinata to learn boxing, or stay in the library to read materials, and finally go home to rest. Apart from occasional visits by Xiao Chu-Tian, it adds some embellishments to life. Ning Ci's days were indeed quite ordinary, without encountering any unexpected events. After all, he just stays in the tribal area and doesn't even go out the door, not a single outsider can see him. What else can he encounter? A few months passed like this. Ning Ci also looked at many scrolls and developed many things. The collection of the Hinata clan is indeed rich. As a 1,000-year-old clan, even if you don't cultivate yourself, there is not much wealth and storage that you should have. For example, scrolls of various ninjutsu techniques, as well as scrolls of sealing techniques. Practicing or not is one thing, but we must understand, otherwise how will we face the enemy in the future? Speaking of sealing techniques. If you don't have any background, where did you get the bird curse seal in the cage? And after being seen by Ning Ci, these materials became his nutrients and accumulation, allowing him to develop more things based on them. In the blink of an eye. It's Ning Ci's 3rd birthday. That night, Hinata made a lot of delicious food and even made a birthday cake for Ning Ci. Ning Ci, do you all know? I picked some dishes for Ning Ci, didn't eat a bite, and even drank a few glasses of wine, which made me feel a great sense of debt when speaking. Well, father doesn't have to worry, I understand. Ning Ci lifted his head and smiled. He does not have any complaints about the diurnal deviation. After all, he was raised by someone else. No matter how much we repay each other with kindness, that's not a good thing, right? Moreover, the cage bird is a system passed down by the Hinata clan for thousands of years, and it is not something that Hinata can resist by just one person. Blame him for being useless. But Ning Ci was like this, showing no concern. As a father, he watched helplessly as his genius son was about to carve a cage, unable to break free for the rest of his life. The more difficult it is to bear the daily difference, the more heartache, unease, guilt, debt, and various emotions come one after another. Let him twist like a knife. So much so that you clenched his fist and let his nails pierce into his flesh. Father doesn't need to do this. One person, 2 father and son. Blood ties cannot be severed here. So seeing how uncomfortable the daily difference was, Ning Ci was also considering whether to reveal something to him about this cheap old bean. Originally, he intends to solve his own problem first. Silently developing for a few years, first improving one's own strength before making any other decisions. But this is just a matter of urgency. For the diurnal difference, Ning Ci cannot be as cautious and unnecessary as he is towards outsiders. Let's talk about the father and son soldiers on the battlefield. Ning Ci also wants to support the Hinata clan and occupy greater power within the Hinata clan. Chapter 5. Showdown with Hinata Day Difference, Inoculation Cage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Actually, the bird in the cage has already been cracked by me. What? Hinata widened their eyes. It's just a coincidence that I found some introductions about the bird curse seal in the cage in the library, and then studied it for several months, and finally it was like this. Hinata shows an expression of you teasing me. But seeing that Ning Ci had no intention of joking, he restrained his expression, became serious, and then stood up again to close the door and windows. Until I checked several times and found that no one was eavesdropping outside. He just turned back and sat in front of Ning Ci. Ning Ci, what you said is true. I dare not deceive my father. I can try on you to break the internal structure of the bird curse seal in the cage and preserve its appearance, so that you won't be afraid of being discovered. Are you confident? Okay, come on. The diurnal difference is also a straightforward person. Moreover, it was for the sake of his own son. He was willing to serve as an experimental subject and let Ning Ci test the effect first. For Ning Ci, the curse of the bird in the cage is strong, but cracking it is really not a problem. How to say it? Because he has already opened his eyes. It is possible to observe the chakra flow in the human brain, as well as the sealing circuit of bird curses in cages. You can see it now, and using his super intelligence to deduce and decipher it, isn't that something that can be easily solved? Then I'm here. Well, don't crack all of them, leave a little for me, just in case something unexpected happens. Okay. Ning Ci also means the same. He placed his hand in front of the forehead of the diurnal difference, and as the chakra's thread stretched, it quickly entered the other person's brain, slowly deciphering it. A few minutes later, Hinata felt that his mind was becoming increasingly relaxed, as if he had removed a cage, causing him to involuntarily turn a blind eye. Bang! A small scale outbreak of chakra. Not only did it increase the strength of the daily difference, but his white eyes also returned to normal levels, and there were no blind spots. Is this finished? Well, I have reserved 1% of the curse seal structure for you, but it doesn't affect the performance of your eyes. If the people of the sect use the curse seal on you again, you will feel like a needle prick. Okay, that's best so they don't see it. The daily difference between the sun and the sun is both overjoyed and extremely excited. There's no way. After all, this is a bird in a cage. The problem that has plagued him for half a lifetime, and even affected the next generation. Now that it's solved all at once, how could he be unhappy? Ning Ci, you can't disclose this matter, even if it's someone close to you. At least not for now. After calming down, Hinata quickly instructed. I know, father, rest assured. Ning Ci is not that foolish anymore. If it weren't for the severe discomfort caused by the daily shift, and indeed for being kind to himself in every way possible, he wouldn't even reveal this person. Well, I can rest assured. For early wisdom's Ning Ci, he still believed in the daily difference and said, all right, hurry up and cut the cake. Rest early in a while, there will be a big scene to deal with tomorrow. Yes. After finishing the cake, Ning Ci went back to his room. The next morning, the people from the tribe came over. I took my father and son, Hinata, to the ancestral hall to receive the curse seal of the cage bird. Ah! During the period of receiving the curse seal, Ning Ci showed great pain. Standing on the side, Hinata also had a face full of anger and unwillingness. If it weren't for Hinata's support, he would have rushed over long ago. Ning Ci. Hinata shouted out Ning Ci's name loudly, which was also very well coordinated. Silence. Pull him down for me. The patriarch of the clan shouted sternly with a stern expression on his face. Don't be such a day difference, Ning Ci will be fine. Hinata tugged at his younger brother and comforted him a few words. Actually, he doesn't like this family system either. But there is no way. He is not the only one in the clan who has the final say. Especially in this inheritance system, the power of clan elders is much greater than his, and it is not something he can oppose at all. The curse seal of the bird in the cage is not finished yet. Ning Ci pretended not to be able to support her and fainted. But in reality, the other party cast the curse seal while he cracked it in his head, and in the end, he installed an empty shell without being restrained by the curse seal. Take him back, next time he behaves recklessly, don't blame me for using the curse seal to punish you, day difference. After finishing the curse seal, the elders of the clan said angrily. And Hinata didn't respond, so she picked up Ning Ci and walked out feeling lost. Also possessed by the actor, I have completed the entire set of acting. Time passes by. In the blink of an eye, it has been over a year. After several improvements, Ning Ci has also developed more things. Let's first talk about the method of storing acupoints and orifices. Ning Ci abandoned the storage of meridians and instead adopted the method of storing in the lower elixir field. Because the stock of meridians and acupoints is too small, it is not convenient to apply sealing. Additionally, under the observation of the naked eye, it looks like a luminous skull, which is too obvious and not conducive to hiding oneself, so it must be changed. And replace it with Xiaodanshan storage. Not only does it have a large capacity, but even with a seal to cover it up, it is not easy to be discovered. It is definitely much better than storing meridians. Chapter 6. Dietary Therapy. Liuku Immortal Thief. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Let's talk about the method of countervailing. There is nothing to change about Chakra's reverse filling. Ning Ci just developed a dietary supplement method based on this foundation. It's similar to the Liuku Immortal Thief. By consuming food and using special methods to grind and absorb it, the energy is transported to the cells, greatly accelerating the pace of nourishment. It's not comparable to the original digestive capacity. In theory, even by eating a few stones, Ning Ci can extract some energy. But this method also has drawbacks. It can also be said to be an imperfect aspect. That is because the capacity of cells is limited, and they cannot eat infinitely like the real Liuku Immortal Thief. Eating too much, even if you don't burst yourself, energy will still spill out on its own. So we need to continue developing and improving. But even so, this dietary supplement method also has a significant effect. Because it can improve absorption speed and efficiency, keep the body in a state of energy fullness, and naturally improve physical fitness. This has only been half a year. Ning Ci has grown a lot taller, and the hardness of her bones and muscles on her body are not comparable to ordinary children. And a stronger body means that more chakras can be extracted, all of which complement each other. To this day, the amount of chakra he can extract on a regular basis has reached the level of senior tolerance. There are even more stored in Xiaodanshan. Even if he can't catch up with Naruto, he still needs more than 10 cards, which is enough for him to release a bunch of ninjutsu that he can't use up. Besides that, he has also developed some ninjutsu skills. Ninjutsu is still useful. Ning Ci, like other members of his clan, is not specialized in melee soft boxing, which is too extreme and does not align with his goal of developing a comprehensive hexagonal warrior. Your Excellency. A 16-year-old Hinata tribe member suddenly approached Ning Ci and knelt down on one knee. Hinata is at least the chieftain of a separate clan, and his followers are not lacking. You can say it this way. He manages many more people than Hinata Higashi. If it weren't for the bird curse in the cage imprinted on him and being restrained by the sect, rebelling would be a matter of one sentence. Speaking of Ning Ci's side. For power, although not as passionate about strength. But a hero with 3 gangs, it's also good to have some subordinates running errands. In addition, Ning Ci also dislikes the system of the Hinata clan, and sooner or later he will have to deal with those clan elders and so on. So it's normal to gather some people in advance. And this matter is also simple. Once the news of cracking the bird curse seal in the cage is released, which branch of the family can still sit still? Of course. Speaking to the outside world, the developer who cracked the cage bird is not Ning Ci, but Hyuga. No matter whether the other party believes it or not, that's what they say. And no matter who developed the cracking method, it can still make the separated person wholeheartedly and without hesitation towards Ning Ci and his son. This is very normal. I have never tasted the bitterness of the bird curse imprint in the cage, and I can never imagine how much they yearn for this freedom. It's not about leaving the family. But I don't want to be a slave to the ancestral family, and I am often punished or even killed by them. Just for this, and for the sake of their own descendants, it is enough to make these separated families support Ning Ci and his son, and pledge to follow them to the death. What is the situation? Yunyin village sent envoys to Mai to attend the celebration and discuss the formation of an alliance. It's already this time. Ning Ci is also considering how to solve the life and death crisis of his own father. It's not yet time to overturn the Zong family. After all, Ning Ci is only 4 years old, and even if he develops some good things, it's hard to say he can beat the elite's tolerance. The danger factor is too high. Besides, the father and son have only taken over a dozen or so members of their respective families, and the vast majority of them have not yet unlocked the birds in the cage. Once a war breaks out, those family members still have to obey the orders of the ancestral family, otherwise they will die. In this case, it's not a good time to lift the table. Send someone to keep an eye on those Yunren and report any situation to me in a timely manner. Yes. Under Ning Ci's wave of hand, the young tribe members also left in an instant. Afterwards, Ning Ci returned home and discussed countermeasures with Hinata. Of course, he won't say that you're going to die, Dad. He just said that he heard about Yunren's conspiracy and wanted to arrest the people of the Zong family, which may be detrimental to Hinata. And there is no doubt about the diurnal deviation of Ning Ci, who is 100% trustworthy. What do you think should be done? The daily difference in the direction of the sun wants to test Ning Ci's adaptability. There are two ways. Which two? The first one is to take the initiative and directly kill all those Yunnins, so there's no need to worry about it. Hinata hesitated for a moment and then said, what about the second one? Go find Uncle Rizu to explain the situation, and when those Yunnins take action, execute them on the spot and destroy their bodies to prove their innocence. No one can be found, no bodies can be found. Who can prove that they came to our Hinata clan? Even if those clouds can't bear to face it, it's useless to throw dirty water at us. What keeps a living mouth? Ning Ci has no such thoughts at all. Even if he doesn't have a deep affection for the Hinata clan, he can't let those guys come and leave as soon as they say it, thinking of anything good. Chapter 7. Yunyin Ninja Conquers Hokage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Well, this method is good. It's not that the daily difference is too kind. The main issue is related to the family, so he thinks it's better to discuss with Hinata Higashi. The relationship between the two brothers is still acceptable, and there is currently no conflict, so it's natural to take some consideration. Alright, I'll take care of this matter, so don't interfere, said Hinata. Whatever. Ning Ci doesn't have to participate either. Anyway, as long as this cheap old bean doesn't suffer losses and doesn't feel so frustrated like the original work, why bother so much? As for speaking, he has already talked to this point. If you can still commit suicide like the original work, then it's really hopeless. Fortunately, things did not develop in that direction. 2 days later. It's the day of the celebration, which is also Hinata's 3rd birthday. That evening, after the banquet ends, Ning Ci saw with his white eyes that 2 black-clad ninjas had infiltrated the clan leader's house and never came out again. This situation is obviously. Hinata listened to Hinata's advice and dealt with the 2 invading Yunnins without causing any disturbance. In this way, those Yunren naturally had no excuse to blackmail the Hinata clan. After all, the people are gone and the bodies cannot be found. They can trouble Muyi, but they cannot find the head of the Hinata clan. And the fact is the same. It's daytime. The remaining Yunyin was angry at the monkey flying sun slaying and others in the conference room, but couldn't pour dirty water on the heads of the Hinata clan. One by one, they were also extremely angry. 3rd generation Hokage, those who are sensible should quickly hand over our captain, otherwise don't blame our Yunyin village for being impolite. This envoy, please forgive me for not understanding your meaning. Why hand over the person? Where did your captain go? Monkey flying sun / is also a bit confused. Don't pretend to be an old man. Our captain disappeared from your wooden leaves last night and hasn't returned yet. How dare you say you don't know about this? I really don't know. Do you dare to say it wasn't done by your people from Konoha? The monkey flying sun / cannot be guaranteed. After all, Mai is so big and has many families, who knows what exactly happened. If Captain Yunren goes to the Uchiha clan to cause trouble, it's not surprising to be killed. A few envoys, why don't you wait a little longer? Perhaps your captain has been delayed by something and will be back soon. Monkey Flying Sun / wants to delay for a while so that people can investigate the situation. But a few Yunrin didn't mean that. Because they all know that their captain has gone to the side of the Hinata clan and hasn't come back all night. So what else can there be? It must have cooled down long ago. What are you waiting for? If something happens to our captain, can you, Kiba, afford it? At least give us some time to investigate, right? At most one day, if Yumai still doesn't hand over the people, then don't blame our Yunyin village for starting another war. This. By the way, let me give you another piece of information. Before our captain went missing, he said he was going to visit the Hinata clan. I suspect it was their mistake. Please investigate as soon as possible. If we don't see our captain tomorrow, then we'll meet on the battlefield, 3rd generation lord. Let's go. Put down the harsh words. A few Yunren stood up and walked out. The remaining Monkey Flying Sun beheaded a group of people, with a gloomy expression and an ugly expression. Monkey Fly, how can this be resolved? Xiaochun, who had never spoken before, is now asking. How else can we solve it? Let's investigate first. I'll go visit the Hinata clan. Don't be idle, investigate other places and see if there are any clues. Taking a sip of his pipe, Ape Flying Sun / said. Okay, then we'll go. Nod your head. After Xiaochun and Mido Menyen left, they finished smoking a bag of cigarettes, and Monkey Flying Sun chopped his pipe before standing up. Hinata clan land. After the Monkey Flying Sun slays over. That's how Xiaoji uses emotions and reason to move, constantly asking the Hinata team what exactly happened last night. But because it was already agreed upon. Hinata naturally wouldn't admit it, he killed those 2 Yunnins. Even though the Monkey Flying Sun / talked too much and even used war and dead people as threats, Hinata still shook his head. I don't know anything, let alone have seen Captain Yunren. If the key is to fight, then go to war. The strength of Mai is not weaker than that of Yunyin village, I'm afraid of being an egg. The tension of monkey flying and sun slaying is something that Hinata cannot understand in order to calm things down. As a shadow of a village, I can't handle such a small matter. Don't be too bad. Rizu, do you know how many resources will be lost and how many people will be killed when the war goes on together? Ape Flying Rigian was also extremely angry. There's no one who won't die in battle. That's why we have to try our best to avoid it. There's nothing I can do about it. I haven't seen each other before, what should I say? You're so stubborn, Rizu. I'm helping you out here, don't listen. What the 3rd generation of adults said, why did they just help me? Hinata laughed. Solving the problem now is just a small matter, at most losing face. What's the point? If we really wait for the Yunyin village to attack again, your Hinata clan will be sent to the front line, and not 1 or 2 will die then, do you understand? Chapter 8. Distribution Secrets, Gradually Decreasing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 3rd generation adults, are you threatening me? I said I was helping you. That's not necessary anymore. Hinata waved his hand and said in an uncompromising tone, in order to protect the leaves of the tree, our Hinata clan sacrificed themselves. There's nothing to be ashamed of, and besides, it's a fictitious matter. If you want me to admit it, what can I admit? Rizu, how can you talk to 3 generations of adults? Several elders from the clan walked in and sternly reprimanded. Elders, I'm just telling the truth. Shut up. With a scolding from Hinata, the elders of the clan looked at the monkey flying sun / and instantly showed a gentle smile. It also showcases the capriciousness to the fullest. 3rd generation adults, what exactly is going on? It's like this. At present, Monkey Flying Sun / explained the situation to several elders. Well, that's right. After considering for a moment, the leading elder said to Hinata, to be honest with me, have you ever seen Captain Yunyin? No. Previously, Hinata and Nissan did not admit it, so now it's impossible. Because he also disliked these elders who stretched out their hands recklessly, but couldn't ignore them, it was considered an alternative form of resistance at this time. Really not? No. Okay, what do you think, third generation? After all, he is the head of his own clan. For Hinata Higashi, these elders can control it, but it's not easy to go too far. Since that's the case, I'll go investigate somewhere else. Hey, goodbye. The words fell. The monkey flying sun / also turned around and left. 3 generations of adults, walk slowly. After sending out the monkey flying sun / several elders returned and educated Hinata Higashi. Rizu, no matter what you are doing, we hope you don't forget your identity. Everything should prioritize your family. If you can't do this clan leader well, then switch to someone else. Also, we need to be more polite to Ape Flying Sun Slayer. Offending him won't benefit us, do you understand? I got it. Hinata clenched her fist and responded with a strong suppressed anger in her heart. He actually had a strong aversion to these elders for a long time. But there's no other way, who can make him not such a strong person. Coupled with the high position and power of these elders, his seniority is still high. He can only let it go and accept the lesson. On the other side, Ning Ci also knew about the arrival of the monkey flying sun / and he also used his self-developed eavesdropping technique to hear their conversation. Although monkey flying sun / is very cowardly, several elders are also very disgusting. But seeing that Hinata were still relatively strong and things were almost over, he didn't pay much attention to them. Brother Ning Ci, I ran a long way today. Xiao Chu-tian came to play with Ning Ci again and reported her efforts. And for what happened last night, this girl has no idea at all. I've run a long way, and even though you're sweating profusely, you're not afraid of catching a cold. Ning Ci used his own clothes and sleeves to help Xiao Chu-tian wipe his forehead. And the girl also smiled shyly, her face flushed. Go back and change into some dry clothes. Can Brother Ning Ci accompany me back? You're such a clingy little fairy, let's go. Ning Ci took Hinata's little hand and sent her back. There won't be much to do in the next few days. Even if those Yunyin were very unwilling and still found trouble with the clan in the past. But because there is no conclusive evidence, coupled with Hinata's refusal to acknowledge Hinata's death, the monkey flying Hinata / is also unable to bring Hinata forward. You can only find a way to solve the problem on your own. I don't know how he handled it in the end, so Yunyin turned off the fire. Anyway, it has nothing to do with Hinata's side. Ning Ci didn't pay attention and continued to do his own thing step by step. Learn knowledge and develop ninjutsu. In addition, he also taught some not the most cutting-edge secrets to Hinata and his family members who followed their father and son. Is it decreasing layer by layer? Ning Ci is definitely using the best and most comprehensive. The one that gives the diurnal difference is of the second order, not the most severe. Further down. It's just a second or even weaker secret technique, which varies from person to person. And these secret techniques also have backdoors and seals, so they cannot be transmitted without authorization. Ning Ci is not a kind-hearted person, a philanthropist. He doesn't have 100% trust in the diurnal difference. This is not to say that the day difference is not worth believing. But rather the principles and bottom line of being a person, no matter how good this person is to oneself, Ning Ci will not give away all his cards. That is irresponsible to oneself. My biological father is like this, let alone others. It's also appropriate to keep some backup. Actually, this is also possible. What kind of secret techniques are the key ones developed by Ning Ci? It's like the method of repairing a corridor in reverse. It can restore chakra to cellular energy and increase cultivation speed. Even if it weakens one level. One day of cultivation can withstand others for 10 days. There will be 5 and 3 days further down. At least 3 times the difference. Isn't it impressive enough? If it's not enough, then don't be a person. Chapter 9. Education Hinata, Contact with Naruto. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. I've been going around for over a year now. Ah. Hey. You're walking without your eyes. Look at her eyes, she's from the Hinata clan, right? The white color is really ugly, and what's wrong with the Hinata clan? Don't you have to apologize if you bump into someone from a prestigious family? I'm sorry about that. Kneel down for me. The chubby child reached out to grab Hinata's hair. But he hadn't touched it yet, and with a bang, the kid flew out horizontally. Brother Ning Ci. Seeing the person in front of her, Hinata was so aggrieved that she almost shed tears. Don't cry, you can't be weak when dealing with such uncivilized people, you know. But as members of the Hinata clan, it's good enough that we don't bully these civilians. Do you think it's possible for us to bully them in the opposite direction? If it's my sister, you go over and beat them up. If you don't take action, then don't call me brother in the future. Pushing Hinata a little, Ning Ci said without emotion. Hey. Why are you like this? A little yellow hair jumped out and it was Naruto Vortex. He has been watching from the side for a while now, and jumping out is not for those little boys to complain. But I feel that Ning Ci shouldn't treat Hinata like this, it's too difficult for her. It's none of your business, I'm educating my sister. Ning Ci said without much expression. What is educating her? Of course, you need to know how to resist. When others bully you or even insult you, shouldn't you fight back? This is indeed true. Naruto scratched his head and had nothing to say. Because he also has a personality that can't tolerate bullying, I feel like there's nothing wrong with it. Hinata. Do you still recognize my brother? Of course, brother Ning Ci. In Hinata's heart, Ning Ci's position is not average. Family and friends do not count. The key is that over the past few years, she has become accustomed to listening to Ning Ci's words. Then listen to me and go beat them up. Although I don't want to fight people, I am also afraid of these things. But in order not to make Ning Ci angry and not to lose points in his mind, Hinata gritted his teeth and walked over with his calves. Bastards! Don't go too far. 2 boys picked up the injured chubby little man and shouted fiercely inside. Excessive. That's just what you deserve. Let's take action, Hinata. I'll see. Yes. Sinking down, Hinata no longer hesitated. She took a step forward and used soft punches on several little boys. In the original work, Hinata's timid personality, although due to her own reasons, is mostly due to her upbringing environment. Because my family is strict and I have no friends. Even if there is something on my mind, there is no one to confide in. Over time, it will naturally become closed, insecure, and very afraid of things. And now, Hinata is much better than in the original work. Although she was still wilting and timid, she could still muster the courage to do something in front of Ning Ci. For example, knocking down these little boys. Don't. I was wrong. Even if Hinata didn't put in much effort, there was an insurmountable gap between the children of the big family and those of the common people. This is not under the greeting of Rochuan. The 3 little boys didn't even have a chance to resist, so they were beaten up and ran around, crying for their father and calling for their mother. Hey, is that okay? Naruto sympathized with these 3 boys again. Is that how he is, the virgin heart, who is weak towards whom? Ning Ci doesn't mind either. Because this time, besides teaching Hinata, he just wants to get to know Naruto. And getting to know this is not to be friends with Naruto. He wants to study Naruto's whirlpool physique and the opponent's nine-tailed chakra. Just can't come up and do this. After all, around Naruto, there are still those undercover personnel watching. So he can only settle for second place, get to know Naruto first, get in touch with him, and then talk about it. Okay, Hinata. Yes. After the outbreak of Hinata stopped, Ning Ci also turned his head to look at Naruto. What's your name? Ning Ci is quite easy to talk about, and he doesn't dislike himself either. Naruto exclaimed happily and quickly replied. Do you ask me? My name is Naruto Vortex, and I will definitely become a man of Hokage in the future. Big brother, what is your name? Because Ning Ci is relatively tall, Naruto thought he was several years older than himself. Rishyang Ning Ci. For the first time in contact, there is no need to walk too close to avoid attracting the attention of the monkey-flying sun slayer. I left Hinata. Waving to Hinata, Ning Ci turned around and said, becoming Hokage. This goal is not easy. Go ahead, Naruto. See you when there's a chance. Well, I will definitely work hard. It seems to have gained recognition from others. Because Ning Ci did not mock or look down upon him, it was enough to make Naruto ecstatic and eager to jump. And on Ning Ci's side, he didn't say anything more. Holding Hinata's small hand, he left with the other person. As for Hinata, she only looked back at Naruto without paying too much attention. Because of her brother Ning Ci, she couldn't tolerate anyone else in her heart anymore. Now is the first time she has seen Naruto. Plus, without fighting for her, there won't be too much feeling either. Chapter 10. Warning from Hokage. You are listening at novel full.audio. On the way back. A teenager in his teens and half, leading a little boy, walked towards him. Both sides brushed past each other and nodded lightly as a sign of politeness. Nissan, what are you looking at? Following Itachi's gaze, Sasuke glanced at the backs of the two of them and asked in confusion. It's nothing, let's go home. Touching Sasuke's head, Itachi regained consciousness and smiled gently. Oh. Even doubting Sasuke didn't think too much about it. Anyway, as long as he had his brother with him, he felt very satisfied. Led by a small hand, he followed along with a thud. You have quite a keen perception. Not far away, Ning Ci also turned around to take a look, but he didn't take Ujibwa Itachi too seriously. There's no other reason, my vision is too narrow. Only in one village, even if there is a bit of talent, the height is limited, and future development will be like that. But it was the night of extermination. You can think of ways to plan and plan. Ning Ci is still very interested in the assets of the Uchiha clan, especially those book collections. After all, no matter what, the Uchiha clan is also a family that has been passed down for thousands of years, and their collection should be even more abundant than that of Hinata. Instead of sacrificing the monkey-flying sun and killing those people, hide and eat dust. It's better for him to take it, at least it can be used. What's wrong with my father? Returning home, seeing Hinata with a worried expression, Ning Ci sat down and asked. For my own son. Mature in mind, he has developed so many amazing secrets. So Hinata no longer treats Ning Ci as an ordinary child, so he immediately spoke up. It's not like the monkey-flying sun slaying those old guys and then withholding our money. It's been a few times now, it's really getting too much. It's also ridiculous to say. At the beginning of the establishment of my. For the sake of standing in line and certain purposes, the support of the Hinata clan for the thousand-handed pillar at that time was quite strong. Not only joining forces with numerous families to oppose Uchiha's appointment as Hokage. They also gave the majority of the assets of the Hinata clan, half sold and half given, to Kiba. Then, relying on the annual dividends given by Mai and the remaining meager assets, they were able to barely maintain the glory of the wealthy family without using their savings. This is nothing. The key is that those of that generation also passed down ancestral teachings. It is said that from now on, the Hinata clan will not be able to do business or compete for profits with the common people in Mai. This is really meowing. When I am a relative of the imperial family, I am so worried. If you don't compete with the common people for profit, don't engage in business, and even if you pit your descendants, it will be a huge blow. Because now, the economic lifeline of the Hinata clan has fallen into the hands of the people on the Hokage side. Whether you eat or dress depends on the other person's face. May I ask, how can we stand up and confront others? Speaking of which, Hinata is young and has a bit of temperament and philosophy. If in a few more years, go through more things. It is estimated that he will also be obedient to the 3 generations of Hokage, just like in the original work, and let it go. Is there no way? The money is all in their hands. To feed a large family like Hinata, hundreds of people. Plus, the elders in the clan are still causing trouble and constantly exerting pressure. With Hinata's less dominant personality, how could he withstand it? Is this revenge? Definitely, since we didn't admit that a year ago and saved face from the monkey-flying Sun Slayer, they have been targeting us. From embezzlement of funds to delegating dangerous tasks, we are doing everything in every aspect. This horse stomping is not even shameful. Hinata said angrily. Of course, the situation is not that serious either. After all, no matter what, Hinata is also one of the top big families, with overall strength only inferior to the Uchiha clan. At this stage, the relationship between the senior management of Kiba and Uchiha is already very bad, almost to the point where water and fire are unbearable and cannot be eased. At such critical moments, how dare they die against the sun? I'm afraid it will push Hinata too hard. If we unite with the Uchiha clan again, we won't really have their good fruit to eat. The events mentioned by the diurnal difference have occurred, but only sporadically and not frequently. It's more like a warning than a crackdown. Let's put it this way. Or did the Uchiha clan carry thunder on Hinata? Because if it weren't for them standing in front, it would be Hinata on this side who welcomes the firepower of the fire shadow. However, with the overall strength of Hinata, it is still slightly inferior to the Uchiha clan. In addition, with the unique family structure, those elders are still playing tricks on it. If they were to face the suppression of the Fire Shadow clan head-on, there is no need to estimate. It must be unbearable. There is no other way to walk besides being someone else's dog. So, we can't let the Uchiha clan end up so soon. After clicking his chin, Ning Ci also thought about how to solve this problem. He has no intention of abandoning the Hinata clan. It's not about deep emotions. As a traveler, it's impossible to run away in a bit of danger. You don't even want your own family, that would be too embarrassing. Another one. The Hinata clan is still useful to him, and it is impossible to give up just by giving up. So we can only start from 2 aspects. One is to quickly improve the strength of the people around oneself, and then take control of the entire Hinata family. Once again, when necessary, we can even provide some assistance to the Uchiha clan by getting online. No need for anything else. As long as Ning Ci has sufficient strength and controls the Hinata family, they should not fall down and can continue to fight against ape-flying Hinata and others. Of course, there's no need to worry too much about this matter. After all, there are still a few years before Uchiha's extermination. But Ning Ci is only 5 years old now, which is the stage of laying a foundation and accumulating strength. It will definitely be much easier to lay low for another 2 years before making a move.